Here are 5 reasons why you're not manifesting the life of your dreams. Have you been feeling like you've been doing the work, but nothing is moving in your life? Maybe you're watching other people's dreams come true and wondering why it's not happening for you. You might feel tired, frustrated, and starting to lose faith in yourself. Maybe you're thinking, by this point in my life, I thought it would be a lot further ahead. You might be wondering, why am I not married yet or have that dream job? Maybe I'm even working in the wrong industry altogether. Or I never even got that car that I've always wanted. Believe me, I've been there, I promise. You're much closer to manifesting your dreams than you think. But you need to clean up all those underlying programs and limitations that you've put on yourself that's blocking you from getting what you want. So here are the 5 top reasons why I see people aren't manifesting their dream life. Number 1, you're not even clear about what you want to manifest to begin with. It is so important to have a very clearly defined goal if you want to achieve something. And by achievement, I mean manifesting an experience that you want to have in this reality. That could be everything from buying a new car to getting a puppy dog, maybe landing that dream client, or starting your own business. There are so many different types of goals to have, but if you don't even have an idea of what you want, then how are you gonna bring it about? Every time that I've done manifestation work, it takes me a long time to actually realize, what do I want to manifest in my life? What do I actually want? That question is trickier than you think. Because let's be real, a lot of the things that we supposedly want aren't even our dreams or our own goals. Speaking from experience, I was told to just go to school, get a good job, and life would figure itself out. I didn't even consider an alternative path like starting my own business or traveling the world in a gap year before going to university or whatever. I also picked up a lot of programs that having a family was going to be the worst thing that could ever happen to me. And I realized that a lot of those programs weren't actually mine, but I subscribed to them, and it totally changed the course of my life. When I got really clear about what I wanted to experience in my life, everything changed. And how I did this was start with a goals exercise. I first learned about this exercise in the Ascension 101 course by Nelia Benz. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link below. Super transformative course, by the way. But every time I have done the goals exercise from this course, literally every single thing comes true. Okay, almost everything comes true. This is the notebook that I started to write my goals down back in 2018, and almost every single item ended up coming true 5 years later. Here is the exact journal that I wrote back in December 31st, 2018 about my 5 major goals that I wanted to achieve. So when I wrote this back in 2018, I was making some really big leaps about what I wanted to achieve in my life. So at the time, I had massive credit card debt, huge student loans, and I had a goal of paying off all of my student loans within 5 years. One of the most powerful things about this exercise is that it helps you to establish the goals that you want to manifest or achieve in a 5-year window, 1 year, and 3-month window. The 5-year goals are pretty much the moonshot or impossible dreams that you think you can't achieve, but still want to at some point. Whereas the 1-year goal is a little bit more achievable, but there's some stuff that you have to do to get there. The 3-month goals are what you do and start doing on a daily basis so that you can achieve those goals within 3 months. What I found is that the more specific you are about the specific items you want to manifest or the goals that you want to have achieved, the easier it will be to bring that into reality. So it's really important to first determine, are you building your own dream or are you building someone else's? So take inventory and check what's really yours. What do you want to spend your time and focus on? What do you want to manifest and bring into your life to experience? This is so important and why it's the first step. If you don't know where the ship is going, how do you even know you want to go where it's going? Number 2, you're escaping. There are so many people out there who are trying to escape the misery of their lives through a lot of means. For example, alcohol, recreational drugs, video games, television. Believe me, I've been in all of that. So here's the thing with escaping through consuming. You are literally expelling all of this energy and chi and focus somewhere else. And don't get me wrong, I love a good video game and I love watching a nice movie or a show on Netflix. But what I found is when I was using the entertainment that I had in my life to escape from my daily life, that's a sign that something's not quite right. Speaking for alcohol and recreational drugs specifically, that's a much bigger problem. I do not advocate for the consumption of alcohol, especially if you're a mystic and sensitive to energies. I'll save this for another video at another time, but alcohol is literally the spirit of a plant. It's used in alchemy for a very specific reason. And, well, there's a reason why we call it spirits. It's because when you consume alcohol or you're drunk, that allows other spirits to come in and possess you. If you've ever heard an alcoholic talk about how they're fighting their demons because they're an alcoholic, they mean it literally. Although they probably don't mean it consciously, but it's quite literal. Believe me, I know how difficult it can be to not drink alcohol, especially if it's the main form of socializing with your friends, family, or pretty much most circles in society. This is a topic for another video. Just know that I think alcohol is pretty much a major form of disempowerment, and you probably want to steer clear from that. But the same can also be said for recreational drugs. I used to be a massive pothead. I loved smoking marijuana, and in hindsight, now that I haven't smoked in years and years, I realize how detrimental it was to my life, actually. And it's because I was using marijuana to escape what I felt miserable about in my life. It's really difficult to manifest the life of your dreams if you have a constant haze or fog from recreational drug use, or you're addicted to something like nicotine or alcohol, or even to entertainment like video games. I've definitely had to deal with video game addiction too, believe me. But here's the thing, all good things in moderation. So take a look at your life and see where are you avoiding discomfort or even conflict in your life through escapism. Once you start to address the core problems, then you can start focusing all of that extra attention and money on building the life of your dreams. Number 3, you are identifying with your shadow. So there's a very common term that floats around many schools of mysticism, spiritual work, and even psychology, which is that of shadow work. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the details about why I don't resonate with this topic at all, but it is really important because I often see this as a main block of why people aren't manifesting what they want in their life. And that issue is thinking that your trauma is your personality. Or even worse, that it somehow made you a better person. Because the truth is, it didn't. Here's the thing. We live on planet Earth, which is a playground of dark light experiences. This means that we are in the middle of a war zone, and in some cases, quite literally. You came in as a beautiful, divine being of light. Sometimes bad things happen and we can experience trauma or pain as a result of these situations. But there's a false teaching that floats around the internet that pain is actually good for you and that suffering somehow teaches you a lesson. But that is not true. First of all, who you are as a person is totally irrelevant and detached from your trauma. I have seen people who will associate who they are and their entire being around trauma, but that trauma itself didn't make them a better person. In fact, they were already a good person before that. But believing that trauma is some kind of badge of honor or makes you a better person is a false teaching. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are out watching a beautiful sunset. You're appreciating the colors and how gorgeous it is, and wow, the amazing view of Gaia. Now, if somebody came and punched you in the face and said, "What do you think of the sunset now?" What would you think? Is the sunset still beautiful? Can you even see the sunset now because you got punched in the face? Probably not. I know this is kind of a silly example, but it illustrates the point that we don't need suffering or pain to help us see the beauty that is already in us or the world. Now, pain specifically is usually a form of communication from the body to tell us to take action in some way, either to stop doing something or maybe do something else. Usually this is an extreme form of communication because we have ignored all the other signs that our body has been telling us that this is not a good place to be. But pain is a response mechanism from the body. This is different than, let's say, holding on to pain long after that situation has passed, somehow glorifying it that it made you a better person and identifying with its very being that, well, you're now a better person because of it. So if you want to focus on manifesting something in your life, you have to make sure that you're not doing it from a place of this trauma or suffering or your shadow. Oftentimes, people will manifest more of that trauma and suffering in their life, not the opposite part. So focus on the light, focus on the good things that are resonant with you, that are beautiful, that make the world a better place. And don't get me wrong, it's not to say that bad things don't happen. It's just, what do you want to put your attention on? The more you focus on the negative things, the more you're going to attract those negative things. So if you want to manifest something or set a goal, make sure that you're focusing on something that is positive, high frequency, and light-based, rather than darkness, suffering, or negative. Number 4, you're always in a goddamn rush. Oftentimes, I see people get really impatient when they're not manifesting what they want in their life. This could be everything from buying a car to transforming their business to get more clients, or even finish a university degree. More often than not, the timetable is a lot longer than you think. I remember when I was trying to manifest a house, I was really focused on buying something that I thought was going to be perfect, but it didn't really work out. At the time, I was married to a different person, and even though we were trying to find and buy a house together, it just wasn't gelling. It wasn't manifesting. And it wasn't until many years later that I realized that that wasn't the life or situation that I actually wanted. Turns out I wanted a different kind of lifestyle that was no longer compatible with my then spouse. So I'm actually really glad that I didn't manifest a house in that previous marriage, because it would have made the divorce a lot more complicated, and frankly, I'm just glad we didn't have to deal with that. But once my energy was clean and clear, then I was able to manifest the house of my dreams. And I literally mean that, house of my dreams. I ended up moving next door to my best friend in my dream location for a house that wasn't even on the market. But it did take time. I had to get my affairs in order, I had to clean up my own energy lines, and I had to actually take action in the world and do stuff in order to bring that about. So in hindsight, it took me about 3 or 4 years to actually buy my first house when seriously looking. But once I did, it ended up being the perfect situation, and I couldn't be happier. So if you're manifesting, you have to take into consideration the timetable. This is where step 1 with those ascension goals can be really helpful. It'll give you a sense of, is this an item that I'm manifesting in 5 years or something that I want to do over the next couple weeks? Regardless, impatience is not going to help you. Usually, impatience happens because there's some kind of resistance happening within us that we need to address. So if you listen, then it will probably be a lot easier for you. Which leads me to number 5. You're disconnected from your body. Our physical bodies are our greatest manifestation tool. They are literally the vehicle in which we engage and interact with the very world that we live in. If we have a really good, healthy, strong connection with our physical body, we will get data about what's going on. This could be health, wealth, relationship, career, related in any type of or area of life. Our physical body is going to be involved. So if you connect with your physical body, she or he is going to tell you what's really going on if you actually spend time listening. One of my favorite tools on how to do this is within the Ascension 101 course. I'll put the link below. Definitely check it out. Worth every single freaking penny, let me tell you. But once you have a very strong and healthy connection for your physical body, your manifestation skills are going to skyrocket. Because 1, you'll actually have an ally to help you manifest and bring these experiences or items into your life. And 2, we literally can't do it without the body. So we might as well work as a team and have agreement to make it happen. The more you're aligned and resonant with your body, the easier it's going to be for you. One example I'll share is that I had the program running that I didn't want to have children, and I was perfectly okay with that. But then my physical body was very clear and said that she wanted to have a baby. This really surprised me because for a while, I didn't even know that that's how she felt. So now that I'm aware of what she wants, it makes it a lot easier for me to approach the world in a more holistic way, because I'm taking my body into consideration when I'm manifesting things. So when I was buying my house, for example, I made sure to buy a house that I knew would be compatible for a family. And I think that's another reason why the house came about so quickly and easily. It's because my body felt safe, secure, and really happy knowing that she was gonna raise her babies with her best friend next door. And while also being a really safe community and environment that is supportive of children holistically. So again, really important to connect with your physical body and see what is going on with them, because if you guys work together in collaboration, it'll be a lot easier to manifest items for your life. So here's the thing about manifestation. It isn't just affirmations, doing magic, and hoping things are gonna fall out of the sky and appear for you. Manifestation is about having a clear intent, like a goal or an item that you want to bring in your life, making sure that you're clear at both a physical, mental, spiritual, energetic, egoic, and emotional level to make it happen. This is why it's important not to escape our life, because if we're consumed with alcohol, recreational drugs, or entertainment to unhealthy levels, it's going to be really hard to bring that about into your life. Oftentimes, we might romanticize the negative things that have happened to us when really those are actually blocking us from getting what we want out of life. Sometimes we might feel impatient that it's not happening fast enough, but sometimes that's exactly what's needed and the guidance that's happening for a reason. And when we connect with our physical body, we'll have a much better understanding about what the data is or what's going on, because we'll literally have another person to talk to, ourselves. If you're ready to clear what's blocking you and to manifest from a high frequency place, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll keep sharing with you the tips, experiences, and lessons that I have learned over the years, sometimes the hard way, so that you don't have to. So drop a comment. I'd love to hear which of these 5 reasons really hit home for you. When you align your intention, your frequency, and your actions, the universe has no choice but to meet you halfway.